Hello, my name is Ryan Griffin. I am a 3D artist and I work with the IGDA in the Baltimore chapter. The IGDA is the International Game Developers Association, and we are located in Maryland, specifically in the Baltimore region. However, this area it has a lot of variety of different kinds of game development, whether that is at the AAA level, the indie hobby level, and students and everywhere in between. So my name is Ryan Griffin, and we have our special guest here, Allen Lambert. So how about you go and introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure thing. Thanks for the interview, Ryan. This is
Hmm.
a good opportunity to kind of demonstrate what I'm working on. My name is Allen Lambert. I'm more or less a indie generalist. So most of the time I'm solo. Sometimes I team up and work on game jams and other projects with teams. But for the most part, I'm a solo generalist, and I try to focus on art and programming specifically, but I'll also attack things like audio, voice acting. I've done a little bit of 3D. Yeah, just kind of whatever I feel like taking on.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been seeing your work for a while, and like even before the pandemic and the restart of the Baltimore IGDA, like I've been seeing your work and conversing with you for a while now. A little bit about me. So I'm a 3D artist. I work as a environment, hard surface a kind of artist. I got one of my starts. I've been doing 3D since I was in high school. However, I got into AAA development with a local studio, which is Oxide Games. They worked with Microsoft to be able to create a game called Ara History Untold. I was on the team for about 5 years or so, and went through the entire production pipeline. And then once that project concluded, I was able to jump ship to actually work at a new startup called BitReactor. BitReactor is working on a new project. I can't talk too much about it. However, I can say that they are working on a Star Wars project. So they're working with EA, Respawn, Disney, Lucas. So that's about all I can say. But definitely look forward to it. There's going to be more news, and check our website, and that's at BitReactor. So let's kind of jump ship here because the Baltimore IGDA, what is that, right? So for us, it is a large span of different levels of game development. And the Baltimore IGDA works a lot with promoting and hosting and building community within our local area. And so for us, we actually have a event that happens right at the beginning of the year called MAGfest. And with that, it's in DC, which is right next door. And we also have many different areas around there which actually also collaborate, and it's also very big in the indie scene. Alan, can you actually talk a little bit more about Magfest?
Yeah. So right off the bat, I started out kind of with a sour experience, and it's nothing on the part of the MagFest staff. It's nothing on the part of the attendees. I ended up getting sick on day zero. So
Mm,
I was out and I was setting up everything on, I think it was on Wednesday, the 25th. And I, I brought all my stuff out, started unloading and putting everything together. And then was feeling a little tired. So I was like, I'll finish it tomorrow. It's no big deal. And then on the ride home, I'm like, I'm sick.
oh
That
no.
I'm like, yeah, I'm sick. So something's not
Yeah.
right. And and then I kind of shrugged it off, and I just went through the
Mhm.
whole thing. And but Magfest itself is a great experience. If for the viewers, if they don't know about it, it's around 25,000 attendees. It's all attendee funded in the sense that you know, everybody is a volunteer. Whoever is working at the event as staff. It's hosted at the Gaylord, and the attendees, they are the you know, the pillars of what is MAGfest, Music and Games Festival. And my department was MIVs, the
Mm, mm,
um,
mhm,
you know, MAGfest indie games.
mhm.
And sorry, excuse me. Let me just
Yeah,
mute
yeah.
that.
With MagFest, like there's like different components to it. Like it's both like indie games, retro games, a little bit of music. All of these things kind of combine together with like a con atmosphere, but it has a lot more to it.
Right. Yeah. There's a whole range of people. You know, people in jeans and a t-shirt, and then people like in the weirdest anime costume cosplay that you could imagine. And that's what's kind of cool about it. I mean, you never know what's going to be there and who you're going to see. It's definitely, it's not really on the scale of like I don't know, an awesome con or like and it's not in the category of a GDC. But you do have, you know, some little areas for panels, and you have these massive rooms called the expo halls, and that's where all the magic is happening. You have four massive expo halls, and I was stationed along the wall of one of them, and I had my Over Many Waters project, and it went quite well. I had two machines, and um, they were positioned on a dock like deck that I had built myself, and um, I had about 250 plays and
Oh,
no crashes. So I was super
even
happy
better.
about that. Yeah. The
Yeah,
machines ran 24 hours.
could you actually talk a little bit about your game?
Yeah, Over Many Waters is an Aztec RPG. It's in very early stages. Essentially, I've uh, I've got what you could call, I guess, like a demo, vertical slice, you know, whatever. Um, but essentially, there's probably about I would say less than 20 NPCs, and you're in the setting of like a Legend of Zelda kind of world, but the NPCs kind of act like Stardew Valley. So there's you know, NPC relationships and dialogue, branching dialogue. Choices matter. So if you're to tick off a certain NPC, they would probably gate you from accessing, you know, some extra thing. It's not going to essentially stop you from gameplay, but
Mhm.
choices do matter.
Yeah, but your choices, like if it's like, oh, like that guy, like I don't know about him. It's like, oh wait, this guy seems like kind of authority figure, but then it's like, oh wait, no, like there's got something else going on, right? So there's like a bunch of different things there. Can you like show us maybe a little bit?
Yeah, I could probably pull something up real quick. So it's on itch.io.
Hmm.
So we'll start there.
Okay.
And I don't remember the exact. See, I have to log in real quick.
Yeah, we can link that in the description later.
Yeah, and I have a couple of games on here. So this is the test build, and it's there for download. The page that we probably want to look at is this one.
Hmm.
So this is Over Many Waters, um, and nope, that's not the one. But yeah, we can link it later, and you can, you know, if you have to
Hmm.
cut this out, that's fine. But yeah, so Over Many Waters, I can post this. This is qwertywasd17.itch.io/over dash many dash waters dash demo. It's kind of a mouthful, but but yeah,
Hmm.
that's just a little quick clip of that, and then we'll pop back over to the
Yeah,
voice call.
yeah, sounds good. Okay. With that, with MAGfest, like that's obviously one event that happens right at the beginning of the year for the Baltimore IGDA, and with MIVs, like a lot of other game developers come from different areas as well. So it's not just local; it's kind of semi-regional as well. And there's also a lot of music and retro arcades which are come around as well, which is also a big part of our local con vibe around. With the Baltimore IGDA, we do a lot of different kinds of events for our local game dev community. So with that, we can do events where we do like panels, where we do like education to be able to help have talks about different topics. Within our industry, whether that is programming or arts or music, there's lots of different sub communities around, because we have like several different platforms, but like most of our community is based around Discord, and there's several other Discords around which we help to be able to service and provide that community outreach. Um, with that, the Baltimore IGA has a event coming up, which is going to be for No Land Beyond, and with that, it's going to be two speakers. One is going to be for Derek Lynn. He's going to be doing accessibility and tools for game development. And then Kevin Stainham, he's going to be doing a presentation on creature development in ZBrush. So that'll be pretty exciting. We have events like that, and then we also have ones where we give back to our local universities. So with that, we actually had an event last year, which we're probably going to recreate, which is where we have all of these seniors throughout the different universities be able to showcase their senior projects, which is kind of a great way to be able to help students realize that there's a bigger community beyond their school, as well as being able to talk to industry professionals that we have at the AAA level. Within the Baltimore area, there's actually about like five or so AAA studios, whether that is Firaxis Games, ZeniMax Online, or ZOS. We have Upside Games. We have Bit Reactor. As well as a couple of startups in the space as well, as well as like indies as well. So we have like Midjourney, we have Resurgence, we have Multivirtual. There's a lot of different games that have serious either for like learning or like AAA games. There's a whole gambit of them. So it's very interesting area to get into game development. So that's kind of why we have a lot of different tech around. So it's a very interesting area. So with this past year, like it's kind of been a little challenging with everything. So we had a changing of the guard because we actually restarted the Baltimore IGDA post COVID, as well as a lot of things happening within the games industry as a whole. So with this year, like what kind of challenges have you faced, Alan?
Well, to kind of tag along with the changing of the guard, I my first challenge was deciding whether I should join the IGDA board or not. And
Mm.
when we did the meeting and the voting, I felt my hand kind of doing one of these, but I
Yeah.
remembered that I have all these other commitments already,
Mm.
so I just
Yeah.
lowered my hand.
Yeah.
But some challenges that I have had, I guess, in the indie game dev space, because I do other things outside of indie dev. Um, those challenges would probably be leveraging securing contracts and actually trying to turn over some coin. So
Mhm, mhm.
um, that's definitely challenge number one. But I've been able to, as of this year, start seeing a return on investment on that. But
That's
last
promising.
year it is, yeah. And last year, it was an exploration kind of phase.
Mm.
Uh, I think it was about a year and a half, 2 years ago that I actually finally got my bachelor's degree.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you in game development, and you know, I've continued to kind of figure out where I want to be in the industry, and I'm pretty confident that I like being that, kind of hobbyist, freelance. I like that because I have a background as an entrepreneur in an unrelated business, and that's just kind of who I am. I've done a lot of sales. I've done a lot of DIY, and so a generalist is who I am when it comes to game development. So that's the identity that I think I've discovered this past
Mm.
year.
Yeah, and with that, like that kind of goes hand in hand with like the learning process for game development within like college, or if you kind of just want to like start tinkering, right? And getting into that hobby level, it's a very straight shot into, hey, like I can kind of have this as a passion project which I can bring in other people, I can expose it to the rest of our local community, and be able to get feedback, and being able to go to MAGfest like that is a great opportunity. We'll have like future speakers that also have a similar backgrounds as well as different experiences. And like with me, with like what kind of challenges I actually had within this past year. So with Oxide Games, I had been there for about like 5 years or so, and then like eventually there was a little bit of trying to figure out like what was like that next step, because like within that past like a couple of years, there's been a lot of turnover in the industry in general. So like I was a part of some layoffs with that. However, I was able to like continue working on my portfolio as well as networking, and I also took on the mantle of being the Baltimore IGDA president. So with that, it's kind of keeping me active and keeping me motivated to be able to make new things and keep putting myself out there. And another thing about my background is that before I got into game development, I was actually a adjunct professor, and so I actually went through and had that like teaching mindset, being a mentor to our local community, going to the different universities to be able to share my knowledge with people, is part of like who I am. I developed that from my dad, who is also a mentor as well, for his community. So it kind of runs in my kind of a personality a little bit. But with 3D, like it's something that I've been doing since I was very young. So I've kind of developed a little bit and grinded to be able to understand more about 3D and where are my strengths, and what things I can do better than other people. Because I mean, being getting into a AAA game development is not easy. As well as being able to stay in it for several projects long, and be able to get a second gig started, and have a longer career is actually like pretty impressive, to say the least. Because like I know a lot of people, because like I have a local 3D Discord that I help to mentor students, and they kind of see that, oh, like I was like them, and you can still make it if you have the right person and the right skill set to be able to actually get in. So there is still hope. It's more a matter of you gotta have the right environment and the right skill set to be able to make it. So let's see. What are some of your goals going to be for this year? Like what do you want to see in our local community or in the game industry in general? Because like uh, there is like a lot of like interesting projects out there, and like you're also having stuff with your game as well. So uh, what are some things that you want to do this year?
Okay, so some the things that I'm gonna do this year are gonna be, like I said, to secure some more contracts.
Hmm.
I recently picked up a freelance project to do some illustrations. It's about 30 illustrations for a tabletop RPG printed one shot book. So I'll be doing. I might have misspoke. It might not be the one shot, but um, still, it's a tabletop RPG handbook. And uh, as far as I know, I got the gig to do all of the illustrations for this book, so it'll be pretty interesting,
Hmm.
to actually have a published piece, a published piece, uh, to actually, that my name will be on it. That'll be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, with board games actually, last summer, the Baltimore IGDA actually had a board game fest, which we actually had two speakers. That one was actually from one of our local game studios. He actually worked on the Civilization titles, but he's also a avid board game a developer as well, which was Ed Beach. And he had a few different games which he showcased, but one was basically about um, uh, historical Scotland with like cattle raiding. And he had a presentation on that, and we also tag teamed him with another like local kind of icon, which was Elizabeth Hargrave. She's also the creator of Wingspan, which is a very popular a casual board game as well. And both of them have actually gone to one of our local conventions, which is called Unpub or Unpublished Game Convention, right? And so with that, it's actually a local board game convention where traders can be able to go to be able to showcase their unpublished board games to be able to get direct feedback from con goers basically. And that's actually like a really interesting thing because some of the local game development groups also do that as well. So like our creative space here is very diverse in terms of what we have, as well as audio as well. There's a local audio focus group which is called Game Audio Maryland. And so they actually also go and talk with some of the game concerts, both in DC as well as in Baltimore area. There's several of them around, which a lot of both people who casually like games and music being able to combine together. So there's a lot of different kinds of energy in terms of like our diverse game community around here. Let's see. Yeah, I feel like we pretty much have gone through like most of our content. But did you want to like pull up some of like my portfolio and showcase some of that, or maybe some work from like our History Untold? Either of those can work.
Okay, here you go.
Mhm. So with some of my work there, like you can see at the top of my portfolio, there's mostly a lot of work from my previous game. With that, I pretty much was I started out 5 years ago on our History Untold, working with the outsource team. And with that, like I actually kind of had a little bit of a bridge like between that because I was able to network enough to be able to talk to somebody who he's a AAA outsource guy. His name is Peter Kujesta, working with Exis. And like I actually had met Alan at that time as well. And it kind of like comes full circle because I had that experience as an intern at Exis. I was able to also get the job eventually at Oxide Games because I was working on that outsourced team. But I had the skills to be able to also make stuff too. because I had been working on my portfolio and working on making environmental pieces and working with architecture. So from there, I was able to make some of the larger buildings, which are triumphs. And with those, they're similar to the wonders of the world or pinnacles of human achievement within the realm of architecture or natural wonders. With that, I was able to have those as well as working with the environment team to be able to help mentor people who were just getting started, as well as being able to help develop the look and visual identity of a lot of our buildings. And it wasn't just me alone. Our environment team was about 6 or 7 people, and with that, our team did very, very well at producing quality art and having a visual development of the cities, the environment, both organic and hard surface. So with that, like it was definitely a very fun project to be on. I liked the team for the environment team, and I feel like we as a environment team did very well. Um, in terms of like the new project with BitReactor, there's not really too much that I can say other than I've been working with a team of very talented people. We just hired like a lot of like really talented folks. Uh, I've been there for about 4 months now on a contract. I'm gonna hopefully get a renewal on that or getting hired full time. However, the funny thing is that my brother, he actually has been working in the local game industry as well, but he's been doing quality assurance, and he actually worked at a different company called Big Huge Games, and they're a name that's kind of been around for a while. However, they actually more recently have been getting into the mobile space. Before they were in a previous incarnation of the company, but still headed under Tim Train, who was who was the CEO of that company in both iterations. They were working more on like PC strategy. The Baltimore area has a lot of strategy DNA in it. And this goes back to the original Micro Pros, which was the first game development company kind of in the area. And then from there, that spawned like a lot of the strategy vibes which we get from this area. It's a very like niche thing, but then there's also like Bethesda Softworks as well in Bethesda, Maryland. And so there's a large diverse of different kinds of games around here. So it's really interesting because like it's not as like well known as like say like West Coast or like Austin, Texas area or LA, obviously. But it definitely has a identity to it, and we kind of like it that way. All right, so that pretty much concludes our first presentation for the Baltimore IGDA. And one of our first published interviews. So we have a lot of big things coming with the Baltimore IGDA, and I hope to be able to have more guests. And thank you, Alan, for taking the time to be able to spend with us and explaining a little bit about how you got into the industry and what you do for our local community. Um, do you have
Yeah.
anything which you want to say before we wrap up?
Sure. Yeah, I'll just do an exit with a link
Hmm.
to my page. That's
Hmm.
allenlambert.info, and this is my portfolio page, more or less, and I do freelance work for game development, illustrations, programming, and these are some of the games that I've worked on in the past. If you want to check them out, they're available. Here, you can link to a lot of these games here, and yeah, I mean, I appreciate you having me, um, and look forward to other interviews like this in the future. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I definitely have a lot of interesting people coming in, and being able to engage with them and help give them a voice to our local community is part of what I really enjoy about the Baltimore IGDA. Like I really hope to be able to have this continue, as well as have other ventures that are coming, so that there's more stuff to come. Alrighty. Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate your time. I hope to be able to do this again sometime, and I'll talk to you later. Please like and subscribe. Be able to share to help our local community grow and improve with our Discord and our social media as well as our YouTube. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your time. I'll see you next time. All right.
All
All
right.
right.
See you guys.
Bye bye.